All right, let's dive into a really big question in the AI world today. How do you take one of these giant models that knows a little bit about everything and turn it into an absolute master of one specific skill? Let's get right into it. So think about a powerhouse model like GPT. It's amazing, right? It can write you a poem, it can analyze a dense legal contract, or it can even crack a joke about your favorite sports team. It's a generalist. But what if you need a true specialist, an expert in something really specific, like medical diagnosis or financial analysis? And here's the real kicker. You need to do all this without spending a fortune or taking months and months to gather tons of new data to retrain the whole thing. It's a huge problem, but the solutions that are coming out are just incredibly clever.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the classic approach, fine-tuning. This is the traditional sort of go-to method for specializing in AI. It's really powerful, but as you're about to see, it comes with a pretty hefty price tag.
This image here shows the process perfectly. If you look at that first column, you're literally taking a copy of the entire base model, that huge AI engine, and you're basically running it through the factory all over again, feeding it thousands and thousands of new, carefully labeled examples for your specific task. So, the bottom line is this. Fine-tuning absolutely works. It's incredibly effective at creating a specialist model. But, and it's a big but, you're retraining a massive model, which means you need a ton of data, a lot of computing power, and that means a lot of time and money. It's kind of the brute force method. So, what if you just don't have the resources for that full fine-tuning? Well, that brings us to a more manual but really clever workaround: prompt engineering. This is where the human touch makes all the difference. Now check out that middle column. See the difference? Instead of retraining the model, a prompt engineer, sits down and crafts these very specific instructions to guide the original model. You're not changing the engine at all. You're just giving it a much, much better instruction manual. And those specific instructions, they're called hard prompts. They're just text-based commands written in plain English that help guide the model toward the exact kind of answer you're looking for. It's less about hardcore engineering and more like becoming an AI whisperer. Here's a perfect, simple example of how it works. You give the AI all the context it needs. First, you tell it the task: translate English to French. Then, you give it a couple of examples. We call this few-shot learning. Finally, you ask your question. The model uses that entire prompt to figure out, aha, they want the French word for cheese. It's simple, it's effective, and you didn't have to retrain anything. But what if we could get all the benefits of specialization without all that manual effort of writing the perfect prompt? This brings us to the main event, prompt tuning. This is an elegant, super efficient, and AI-powered alternative that's really changing the game. Okay, now look at that third column. With prompt tuning, we once again leave the base model completely untouched, but instead of a human writing a text prompt, we have an AI generate a special numerical prompt that gets added to the input. It's this tiny, efficient tweak that has a massive impact on the output. So let's compare these two directly. You've got hard prompts from prompt engineering, which are made of words, we can read them, we can understand them. But then you have soft prompts. These are totally different. They're generated by another AI. And they're not words, they're just strings of numbers, what we call embeddings. To us, they look like gibberish, but to the model, it's like speaking its native language. It's just a way more direct and effective way to communicate. But of course, there's a trade-off. Because these soft prompts are just numbers, they completely lack interpretability. The AI finds the absolute perfect combination of numbers to get the job done, and it often works better than human-written prompts. But it can't tell us why those specific numbers work. It's kind of a black box. So why does all of this matter? Well, because prompt tuning is fundamentally changing how we create specialized AI. It's basically removing all those traditional costs and barriers to getting started. This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? Fine-tuning is powerful, but its efficiency is low. Prompt engineering is more efficient, but relies completely on that manual human effort. And then there's prompt tuning, which offers the highest efficiency with that one key trade-off being the low interpretability we just talked about. It's just a really elegant solution to a very complicated problem. And the applications for this are incredibly exciting. This lets us adapt models way faster. I mean, think about multitask learning, where a single model could switch from being a translator to a legal analyst to a creative writer just by swapping out a tiny little soft prompt.
It's also huge for continual learning, helping models learn new things without forgetting what they already know. This quote just nails the whole concept. While a prompt engineer might spend all day crafting 1,000 words to guide an AI, prompt tuning proves that sometimes the best way to communicate is with a precise string of numbers that speaks the model's own language. And that really leaves us with a fascinating and pretty important question to think about. As these highly efficient but opaque methods get more and more common, we have to ask ourselves, if an AI finds the perfect answer but has no way of explaining how it got there, how much should we really trust that solution? It's a critical question for the future of AI. Now, before we wrap up, here's just a quick peek at some of the other deep dive topics that are covered in the AI Product Management Playbook.
It's a question we're all going to be grappling with as this technology keeps evolving. If you want to dive deeper into strategies for things like agentic AI, digital transformation, and product leadership, I'd really encourage you to join the AI Product Management Playbook by subscribing on LinkedIn. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.